Good day, Pinoy Clicksers and Mixers. Welcome back to the channel. For this video, we're going to look at some glow ups. Let's go! Okay, so we're gonna look at some Heroclix figures that had significant glow ups since or comparing it to when they were last released in Heroclix. Okay, and we're gonna do two sets from the Collector's Trove and the Spider-Verse. Okay, because there's only quite a few figures that have had glow ups in my opinion. Okay, so and we're gonna do two figures actually for Collector's Trove and two for Spider-Verse. So let's get on with it, starting with the Collector's Trove. And we're starting off with the bugs, which is the swarm of ants. Okay, so before, it was just a bystander, or rather, this cardboard circled paper from the Age of Ultron, which is ant swarm. It has sidestep, poison, and senses, as you can see. And yeah, a special, is that a special damage? No. Okay, so ant swarm. Now in Collector's Trove, it became swarm of ants. So it's the same. Okay, but now it has a skull. Okay, which is black ants now, and yeah, a bit creepy in a sense, but it is an improvement from the previous representation. Okay, and you can see that swarm of ants is 008 from the set Animal and Spy, and you talk to ants straight, which is when an adjacent friendly character named Ant-Man or Wasp is moved or placed. After resolutions, you replace swarm of ants adjacent to them. That's always powerful for those characters. And a second trait, which is Swarming Instinct, unique modifier, adjacent friendly characters that share a keyword with swarm of ants modify attack +1. So a lot of animal. Yeah, and I think the Ant-Man and Wasp also have animal. Okay, so he now has plasticity, poison steel, and empower. Okay, so before he was a giant ant swarm. Okay, so there's actually another figure, giant ant. Okay, so just wanted to show it as well. But now he has 3 clicks of life and improved movement character. Okay, so various real name for the ants, because ants don't have names. The second figure is the Adaptoid from the Collector's Trove. Okay, actually, there is a couple of Adaptoids from the, I think this Captain America set. Okay, so we have the green one and the white one. The green one is the Adaptoid. The white one is the Super Adaptoid. Okay, but they have the same sculpt and just standing there. So I felt that the closest one will be the Super Adaptoid because it's white. So you can see the improvement in the scale, and at the same time a little bit more dynamic. This one is touching his face and with hands in front. Okay, so a little more detail on the muscles and all of that. So I think that's a glow up. Okay, so let's take a look quickly at what the Adaptoid can do. So Adaptoid is set number 13, a common for the set. Aim, and intelligentsia, robot, and spy keywords, and a trait which is replication initiated. When Adaptoid KOs an opposing character, instead of removing that character from the game, you may turn that character to any click and place it on Adaptoid's card. That character is still scored. Adaptoid can use the standard powers displayed on the dial of the last character placed on their card. So it's mimicking a figure that it has KO'd. Okay, so it has charge, precision strike with 2 damage, but it does have survivability because of the plasticity. And for 25 points with toughness and 5 clicks of life, you cannot go wrong with Adaptoid. Okay, so let's put the Adaptoid here. Moving on to the Spider-Verse set, I have here A couple of figures from the Deadpool set. We have the Spider-Bot Mark 1 and the Spider-Bot Mark 2. Okay. And from the Spider-Verse, of course, we have the latest iteration, the Spider-Bot. Okay, so it's now bigger and it's now sitting on a rock. So Spider-Bot is set number 10, has the team player team ability, Sinister Syndicate, Spider-Man and family and robot keywords. And it is an expendable goon. When a Spider-Bot is KO'd by an opposing character, after resolutions, you may roll a d6, 1 to 3, deal the opposing character 1 penetrating damage, and 4 to 6, generate a character with expandable good goon trait on its 15-point starting line, adjacent to a friendly character. It does have poison as well as shape change and stealth, so with improvement character and elevation. So it can get around, and if you don't deal with it, it can be troublesome. Okay, so for 15 points, it is a good filler. And if you use, I think Ashley Barton, you can generate 2 of this if you're the first player during the match. Okay, I actually don't know what these 2 does. Okay, and why they're so small. Perhaps they are attachments to some figures that have slots. So please correct me in the chat if you are familiar with the mechanics of that. I do have their card, but we're not gonna look at it to save time for this video. Okay, so you can pause it if you want, and let's see the back, the same. Okay, and finally the last one, and I think one of the better pieces is Collector's Throw, Spider-Verse rather, the Spot. Okay, so the first sculpt of the Spot is not so bad. You can see here a good representation of his teleportation powers. Okay, but I also like to just again emphasize the meta and one of the better figures of the Spider-Verse, the Spot. Okay, so those of you who knows that there's also an included the spots on this particular figure to represent that teleportation power. Okay, so looking at the Spot with his spot. Okay, so card, he is a super rare, number 40 from the set, with the Spider-Man enemy and team player team ability, Hydra, Modox 11, Magia, Sinister Syndicate, the hand. This is the hand marker. Ruler and Scientist keywords, a trait which is Welcome to Spot World. When the Spot starts the game, generate a spot marker within 4 squares. Okay, and free, place the spot marker into a square within 4 squares of the spot, of course, or place a terrain marker adjacent to the spot marker into a square adjacent to the spot. So he can pull the terrain marker to that particular, close to him through the spot. Okay, so the spot would give the spot characters okay, friendly characters named the Spot treat characters occupying or adjacent to this marker as adjacent when making close attack. So meaning the Spot essentially has a giant reach 4 squares. When a friendly character named the Spot would move, before moving they may place themselves at the spot in each other's square, so they can swap places. That's the spot hand. But going back to the Spot, you can see black and white on the dial for 55 points, very thematic. And he has a special movement power, I am not a joke, flurry and facing teleport. So flurry is free, but only to target characters adjacent to his spot marker regardless of adjacency. Okay, so you cannot actually flurry someone adjacent to you, so it has to be the spot marker. Okay, which again you can reposition anyway with a free action. When the Spot hits, after resolutions, you may place a hit character adjacent to the Spot or a terrain marker within 3 squares of their current square. So it's like you're pulling your opposing character from the marker to Spot. Okay, and then of course it's like you're also what you call this, or a terrain marker within 3 squares. So it's like you're knocking back that particular character, but no damage in that sense. And a special defense power, Spot the Spot, which is combat reflexes, super senses. When the spot is missed by an attack, after resolutions, deal the attacker 2 damage. So that makes him hard to KO hard to hit because of the special defense power all throughout the first 5 clicks of the dial, and a rollout which senses. And if you are able to successfully roll out, then you deal 2 damage to the attacker. Okay, so Jonathan On is the real name, and Amazing Spider-Man is the significant appearance. So all in all, again, there's not so many who had glow ups because there was a lot of famous characters who's been made, especially in the Spider-Verse set. So, and which had, meaning famous characters tend to have already awesome scopes. Okay, so but what do you guys think? What are some of the glow ups that you feel we missed to highlight? Please share your thoughts in the comments, and until the next video, bye!